The echo of betrayal. The fracture of trust. I had promised myself I'd never look at Ethan again, not after he vanished for 3 long weeks. We'd been together for a year, a whirlwind of laughter and late-night promises, but his sudden silence cut deeper than any argument. No calls, no texts, just an empty void where he used to be. I spent those weeks replaying our last moments, wondering what I'd done wrong. Friends told me to move on, and I tried, deleting his number, avoiding our favorite spots. But the hurt lingered, a quiet ache I couldn't shake. By the time the weekend rolled around, I was craving a distraction. A local festival was in full swing, the kind with bright lights, thumping music, and the smell of grilled food in the air. I went with a group of friends determined to lose myself in the crowd. I was on my 3rd drink, the edges of my thoughts softening, when I saw him. Ethan, standing by the edge of the dance floor, his dark hair messy, his eyes searching. He spotted me and pushed through the crowd, his expression a mix of guilt and desperation. "Please," he said, his voice barely audible over the music. "I messed up. Give me one more chance to explain." I should have walked away, but the drinks made me reckless. I nodded, my heart betraying my better judgment. The descent into darkness. Ethan led me to his car, promising to take me somewhere quiet to talk. "I'll drive you home after," he said, his hand brushing mine. I wanted to believe him, to reclaim the warmth we'd once shared. But as we drove, the festival lights faded behind us, replaced by endless rows of shadowy trees. The road stretched on, winding deeper into the wilderness, and a knot of unease formed in my stomach. "Where are we going?" I asked, my voice sharp. He didn't answer, his knuckles white on the steering wheel. Hours seemed to pass. 2, maybe 3, before he finally stopped. We were in the middle of nowhere, the silence oppressive. Ahead stood a crumbling structure, its windows sealed with wooden planks, the paint peeling like old skin. It looked abandoned, the kind of place you'd see in a horror story. "Ethan, what is this?" I demanded, my buzz replaced by cold fear. He didn't respond. Instead, he yanked my phone from my hand, his movements swift and deliberate. Before I could react, he grabbed my arm and pulled me inside, the door creaking shut behind us. The air inside was stale, heavy with the scent of damp wood and decay. He dragged me down a narrow hallway to a small room, its walls bare except for a few scratches in the paint. The only thing inside was a stained mat on the floor, its edges frayed. He shoved me in, and I heard the lock click as the door slammed shut. There were no windows, no light, just suffocating darkness, trapped in silence. I pounded on the door, my fists bruising against the wood. "Ethan, let me out!" I screamed, my voice echoing in the tiny space. He didn't answer at first, but then I heard his voice, low and chilling, through the door. "You're not leaving," he said. "Not until I say so." I froze, my breath catching in my throat. He continued. "You don't get to walk away from me." I heard a rustling sound, and then he spoke again. "I'm taking your shoes. If you try to run, I'll break your ankles." The door creaked open just long enough for him to snatch my sneakers, his silhouette framed against the dim light from the hallway. Then it slammed shut again, the lock snapping back into place. I was barefoot, the cold floor biting into my skin, and utterly alone. I sank to the ground, my mind racing. Why was he doing this? The Ethan I'd known had been gentle. What happens next? Follow given link below.